Hoka, Merrill, and many more. Browns has the local professionals to get the proper fit, aided by their high-tech foot scanner by Atrex. Stop by Brown Shoe Fit today, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln, or check out their options online at brownshoefitco.com. Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now, they've raised wages again, and they're hiring for production operators at $24.62 per hour, which grows to $28.97 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $33.36 per hour, with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates, with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or apply, go to continentaljobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
It's football season in Nebraska, and that means coaches are busy making game plans. I'm Eric Hagan with Liberty Law Group. Teams make game plans because no two opponents are the same. At Liberty Law, we understand no two cases are the same. Whether facing a DUI, criminal charge, or you were injured and it wasn't your fault, we tailor our legal game plan to meet your unique needs. Liberty Law's relentless trial attorneys serve all of Nebraska. To learn more, visit libertylawnebraska.com. That's libertylawnebraska.com.
You don't think about your roof very often, but you should never take it for granted. Roofing Service Company takes every measure to provide you with the highest quality roofing solution. Whether it's a new roof installation, roof repair, or a re-roofing project, their overall goal is to provide you with a pleasant experience and a long-lasting roof. If you have a need for siding or gutters, they're your place too. Visit roofingservicecompany.com for more info today.
IT projects piling up again? Managing IT can definitely be frustrating. Whether you have an in-house IT department or you manage it yourself, let Hamilton be your experts. At Hamilton, we take the frustration out of your business tech issues with managed IT solutions. We specialize in co-managed and fully managed IT. Does your business need better managed IT? Hire your local experts. Hire Hamilton at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Load up on meat and more this summer at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese at 84th and Havertz. This week's specials through September 5th are $2 off 8-ounce grass-finished sirloins. And don't forget to check out their Friday feast this week and every week. Plus, big news. They have 2 new locations now open at 30th and Yankee Hill in Lincoln and 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Tailored Lights is your go-to local manufacturer and installer of the best landscape lighting. Tailored Lights is excited to highlight the architecture of your home or business and provide a warm environment that feels safe. And for those outside the Lincoln area, they do ship across the country and are happy to work with anyone near or far with lights anywhere from 18 inches to 110 inches. Enhance your curb appeal with an exquisite Tailored Light today. Call 402-432-2572 or go to tailoredlights.com. Join us at this year's Ignite Lincoln 15 at Rococo Theater on Thursday, September 14th for an inspiring night of stories that spark change. Get your tickets at ignitelincoln.org. Don't miss this chance to be a part of something extraordinary.
College football in Lincoln, America. The time has come. Start your game day off right with the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Join the ticket crew as they bring you all the coverage you need to get you ready for the action. It's the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show, powered by Sunbelt Rentals. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group of BHHS Ambassador, Select Plumbing, Jimmy John's, Lincoln Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits, Fleet Beef, Yours Cheese Spread on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is Old School, sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. Broadcasting veteran Derek Pearson.
When you find something that moves them, that makes them smile, celebrate. That's your task. That's your superpower.
Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Rifles a pass. It was tipped. It's picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score!
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Austin, go ahead and bring him. Bring him in. The
Bring
Austin.
us in.
Bring him in, man. Bring him in.
What up, Jay?
Yeah, man. And David. Yeah, what's up, fellas? What's going on, man? This is Old School brought to you by the Mercado, a certified Piedmontese special ingredients and butcher shop located at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill. Hopefully they'll be serving some Piedmontese fed buffalo after Saturday at about 2 o'clock.
I see what you did there.
Central Standard Time.
Yeah, I see what you did there. I like that.
Yeah.
Austin,
Yeah, look,
give him the
little buffalo backstrap.
give him the aloe fiber introduction.
Oh, the Aloe Fiber VIP line, where we understand the importance of exceptional service with local heart. Yeah, Aloe, appreciate all the big stuff they're doing for us. Channel 951. That's how you watch us.
There it is. It's countdown is on, man. It's a countdown to Saturday. The holiday. You pretty much the week is fast forwarded. I mean, obviously it's a regular work week for the the players and coaches and staff, but for us, prognosticators, that we is going a little bit quicker, and so not only you got that going on, we're going to be downtown. I saw DP had the update, so there's a lot of good things happening. But this game is obviously if Nebraska would have been able to win last Thursday, it would be taking on a whole even more hype. But I think obviously after the performance of Colorado on the road against TCU, the game is at a magnitude that probably I think people couldn't envision prior to the season, because most people, media members around the great state of Nebraska, had already had the assumption that Colorado was going to be horrible, which lets me know that when you're lazy, because it's assumed that Deion can't coach and he's not going to have players that can play. That means you have not been watching football. So, and I mean watching football before Jackson State. Deion, when he had his Truth Academy, which is kind of like Warren Academy, obviously on steroids, they were always playing in the national championship on ESPN on an odd Saturday or Sunday. So he's a winner there. He won I don't know how many state titles in Texas and all that stuff, and then obviously Jackson State did it there. He kind of did it. He's done it his own way, which is obviously a little different, and so it's probably a little scary to people. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Huskers prepare, because my advice to them, what I said on Inside the Huddle on Sundays at 7 a.m. is that I appreciate Harrison. If you're listening, we made it work, and but I said to them is like you're not playing Deion Sanders. You have to worry about winning your individual matchup. The biggest thing, DP in Austin, is before you prepare for Colorado, which Nebraska is in an advantageous position because they were able to do what I'm about to say now for at least 1 or 2 days, at least one physical day, hopefully 2 days mentally, which is watching tape and all that other stuff, is that you have to find a way to rectify some of the big glaring issues that I call it punch yourself in the face when you played your opponent last Thursday. You handle that, and then as you go on, then you start to kind of prepare exclusively for Colorado. But you can't beat Colorado if you haven't essentially rectified or beat some of your bad habits. And I wouldn't say bad habits, but just bad things or things that you need to rectify from Thursday. And if you do that, then Colorado is just a faceless opponent, regardless of the magnitude of the hype around the game. Because that's where your confidence will come from, because you're prepared.
Jay, I landed on this weekend after watching Nebraska, watching Minnesota, watching TCU, watching Colorado. That to me, I kept thinking about Nebraska and thinking it doesn't matter who Nebraska's playing, because they're only trying to beat themselves. Like, it doesn't matter who they line up against to do the things. If Nebraska can just follow the rules of good football, for whatever those things are, right? Can you do those basic things and then give yourself a chance to be successful? Is that not fair?
That's more than fair, but it's just funny. I call it walking and chewing gum. Essentially staying out your own way, right? And everything within reason, right? You're not. I mean, are you expected them to go to, from, I don't know, the last few years, a pretty high penalty team to zero? No, I mean, in the beginning of the season, you see a lot more penalties. I mean, heck, Alabama's playing Texas here Saturday. I mean, I think that's the most penalties Alabama had, down there in Texas, maybe home cooking or not, in, like they said, in like 10 years. So it happens. But, Nebraska I think the biggest opponent always has been Nebraska, and I think they're in a better position now to rectify that than, maybe in the past, because they have at least, a foundation, a plan, and the true work that needed to be done in order to do that. Right. You got a coach that's extremely, detailed and on them about accountability. Heck, you had a receiver that, he's telling you that he wants to be the guy, and coach says, well, you can be the guy when you start doing the basics, right? That's accountability. That's how you rectify some of that stuff. Because if you can't show up for whatever the reasons were, right, it's not monumental. Because if you did something monumental, you probably wouldn't be playing. I can't speak for the coaches. I'm just going off of my, football experience, that if you can't do the little things, outside of football, you can't be trusted to do it on the field. And so I think that alone gives you a leg up on trying to, get out of your own way, pretty much what you were saying. And, then that's defeating the, good cop, bad cop, or good angel, bad angel on your shoulder, and having the confidence to, go out there and compete. And I think if you want a small glimpse into the difference is, everybody knows what happened before halftime. But the ability to come out and refocus and have the energy to come out of halftime, let alone have a big return at special teams, get the momentum of the game, I guess, create your own good luck, right? A good lucky bounce off of the ground and take advantage of it shows you progress. Now, what you'd like to see is progress from some individual, people or players and groups. But that has to come along as well. I mean, and so those are things, sometimes I think the biggest jump, well, I know it's factual generally, because I've been there, and I'm generally, every coach will tell you this, the biggest jump you sometimes see is from the first game to the second game in every level. So you'd like to think Nebraska's going to play a little cleaner. There's going to be a little bit more crisper, kind of the anxiety and the newness of a whole new team, a whole new coaching staff, a whole new era. They've been through it before, and, kind of won't be as apprehensive. And so it's a big challenge going on the road. You're playing against a well-coached team, contrary to belief, and which is, for people to, it's, what's funny, and I guess I just laugh about it, because if you ever show up to a game assuming a team's not going to play good, you're going to get, unless you're playing against a team that's totally outmanned. Like, if you're playing against a team and they have a new coach, you got to expect them to be on their P's and Q's, right? If you just assume a team coached by a high profile guy that's one of the best players ever to play the game of football, not going to be up to snuff, then you've had your head in the sand for, I don't know, however long, how many years was that Jackson State before that? Like, you have to really try harder at not recognizing what they do, what you should expect in an opponent. You never underestimate your opponent. You never assume. Yes, you can assume that, yes, if we play well, we should win. That's 99% of the game, right? But you should never assume that you're going to go somewhere when you have not been winning, right? And blow a team out the water in a rivalry game against a team that I can't even tell you the last time we beat them, right? Even though we don't play them all the time. Is definitely a smoke screen. But I think that the focus that this, Matt Rule will try to get these guys on and get them doing, I think it will bode well for them to go up there and perform well.
Yeah, it's all of that, Jay, and to circle it, right, that we have forgotten that this is one of the greatest football players, one of the greatest athletes in history.
Oh, ever. No, he might be the greatest athlete of all time. I think Dave Winfield, but I think but the dominance of him is bigger than Dave Winfield. And this is no disrespect to Dave Winfield. This is no disrespect to Bo Jackson or anybody else. He might be the greatest athlete of all time. Now, there are other greats, but I'm just saying that I've seen.
Yeah.
Right. So let's just stop it there. That I've seen. And arguably, just say he's top 3 or 4 or 5, right? So you're dealing with next level type of stuff. Whereas, like, somebody asked me about, the funniest thing, I'm down here in Charlotte, and I heard a couple guys talking. I was with a, buddy of mine, and they were talking about it, and we obviously started talking football or whatever. And he asked me if I was surprised. And I was like, well, if you look how good he was as a player alone, right? I know just playing against those guys, like whether it's a Tom Brady, playing with Bruce Smith, Thurman Thomas, obviously watching Deion play. Heck, I even saw Darryl Green play when they had Deion and Darryl Green. Like, you don't get to that level of being at that, at that height, of a player. And this is legitimate players, right? Like legitimate, going against legitimate guys, not this type of letting the offense have the way with you without being meticulous, without being accountable, without the details. And sometimes I think the assumption, now where I'm not going to get into where it comes from, is that when you have coaches or a personality like Deion, that you like gloss over the details. Well, in order for him to be good to where he came from, or just to be good or to be not good, that's disrespect to say Deion was good at football. Be great at football, there is no detail that you can, that there's no stone unturned.
Yeah.
And that's where you have to change your mind. And when you're going against a team like that, he's an old school coach. Everybody in Nebraska wants an old school, whatever. He's an old school coach. Like, he's not playing, like he's the way he delivers his message is obviously new school, but he's an old school coach. So, in order, so you got to expect their best. But I think ultimately, Nebraska's style could provide some issues if they play their style, and it's like a boxing match, right? It's like Ali against Frazier. If you really stay within your body blow, and we get better at our run blocking, obviously got to get better at throwing the ball and get more accustomed to the offense, then it'd be very easy. I wouldn't say very easy, but very well could be getting on that plane, coming back to Lincoln as a victor, in a big victory, in a staple win, and a signature win, regardless of how Colorado ends their season, and regardless of how Nebraska ends their season. The first win is obviously monumental, and that's what that's what you got to look forward to come Saturday.
Yeah, there's a lot in play. Austin, get us out of here. We'll come back. Jay, what are we going to talk about next?
Yeah. Well, we're going to dive into the game. I think the biggest focus that we need to do right now is just some of the things after having a couple days, and I guess, Labor Day weekend, what Nebraska, needs to work on, or, to fix, or get better at, and really get also not just what they need to get better at. Because I've watched the game 4 times, actually, some things that have gotten better, but just needs to get a half a step better for it to be really good. I think that's the most important thing going there, because obviously the quarterback's the first thing everybody wants to blame. But I think there's some other things, if you look outside of that can really help Nebraska, beat Colorado.
Austin, get us out of here, bro.
You're listening to Old School with DP and J. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
IT projects piling up again? Managing IT can definitely be frustrating. Whether you have an in-house IT department or you manage it yourself, let Hamilton be your experts. At Hamilton, we take the frustration out of your business tech issues with managed IT solutions. We specialize in co-managed and fully managed IT. Does your business need better managed IT? Hire your local experts. Hire Hamilton at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Load up on meat and more this summer at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese at 84th and Haviland. This week's specials through September 5th are $2 off 8-ounce grass-finished sirloins. And don't forget to check out their Friday feast this week and every week. Plus, big news, they have 2 new locations now open at 30th and Yankee Hill in Lincoln and 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Tune in to the Teammates Mentoring Hour each Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m. on 93.7 The Ticket. Hear stories from the program started by Tom and Nancy Osborne and how it's changed mentors and mentees' lives and how you can be involved. The Teammates Mentoring Hour, Wednesday nights from 6 to 7 o'clock on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Attention all Wings fans. 89-cent wings are back on Tuesdays at Buffalo Wings and Rings in Lincoln. Enjoy the best wings in town for boneless or traditional at a price that makes the whole family happy. And now at the Williamsburg Village Wings and Rings, you can enjoy $1.50 tall boys in Bud Light, Coors Light, Busch Light, and Michelob Ultra every day after 7 p.m. and all day on Sundays. Get to Wings and Rings today and make sure to stop by on Tuesdays for 89-cent wings.
Okay, it's time to sell the house. How do we even begin to choose from the hundreds of realtors in town?
Easy. We make a pros list.
You mean a pros and cons list?
No, just a pros list. We need someone with pro photography to showcase the house in the best possible way, pro marketing to make sure we get maximum exposure, pro negotiations so we know we get the best price.
This is one of those times where you already know the right answer, isn't it?
You know it is. Ben Bleicher and Professional Realty Group.
Contact Ben Bleicher and the team at Professional Realty Group of Berkshire Hathaway's Home Services Ambassador. Online at prg-ne.com.
It's football season in Nebraska, and that means coaches are busy making game plans. I'm Eric Hagan with Liberty Law Group. Teams make game plans because no two opponents are the same. At Liberty Law, we understand no two cases are the same. Whether facing a DUI, criminal charge, or you were injured and it wasn't your fault, we tailor our legal game plan to meet your unique needs. Liberty Law's relentless trial attorneys serve all of Nebraska. To learn more, visit libertylawnebraska.com. That's libertylawnebraska.com.
If you're in Lincoln, Waverly, or the surrounding area, listen up. Select Plumbing gets it right the first time on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate at 402-560-6197. Plus, they're hiring service plumbers. If you're in Lincoln, Waverly, or the surrounding area, contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and Bob just wanted to say thank you for a record-setting July here at Koppel. The summer sales event continues in August, and the incentives are crazy good. Check this out. We got 0.9% financing along with a $2,500 trade-in rebate on select new models. You heard right. 0.9% financing has been extended along with a trade-in rebate. Also, our GM-certified used inventory is filling up fast, so make that money-saving drive to Koppel. It's just south of the interstate, or shop online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did. All deals with roof credit.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Warning, this ad will use the F word often, so listen at your own risk. Family fun, fun with friends, freedom from fuel, free Yeti cooler, free driveway delivery. Hey, this is Carl from Nebraska Golf Carts and Priced Right Auto, and we have the all-electric Bentelli Fun Carts, and they are a blast. Plenty of fun colors, and these street-legal cars come in both 4 and 6 passenger. Tell us you heard us on the ticket and get a free Yeti cooler with your purchase. Hurry, supply is limited. Check them out at 1235 West O in Lincoln or NebraskaGolfCarts.com.
At first, I was really nervous and intimidated to buy a ring. I wasn't sure what I was getting into.
My experience at Starter Heyman was very easy. I felt like I walked out of Starter Heyman with the ring that was going to make her go wow and say yes.
I love my ring. It is so beautiful.
I absolutely love my ring. I get compliments on it all the time. I always tell them Starter Heyman.
Yeah, we would definitely recommend Starter Heyman.
Yeah, it was great.
We're definitely coming back. Sure.
Sauter Heyman Jewelers, Lincoln and Grand Island. SauterHeyman.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
The Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see lots of sunshine and breezy conditions. Temperatures a little cooler today. We'll see the high of around 89. Tonight, mainly clear skies and breezy, low of around 59. And tomorrow, more sunshine with some areas of smoky and hazy. Cool temperatures too, with a high of around 82. The meteorologist Kyle Husker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
back to old school with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We are back.
Let's get it, Jay Foreman. Let's get it.
Yeah, man, it's Colorado week, man. It's one thing, DP, I was thinking about, and I don't know if you got to watch, but I know you watched it, but I guess I'll just ask you or say that you didn't, but I know you did, or ask you if you watched it. The one thing about Colorado week that people don't understand is the records are out the door, right? So last week doesn't really matter. It really, I mean, to be honest with you, that's not cliche, or shouldn't it shouldn't matter because everything's got to be focused on this week. But the thing that was real interesting, I was just thinking about this during the break, and obviously had some things, come up down here that I wasn't able to take the morning flight today. But the thing that I was thinking about is the ability to deal with adversity right in the moment, right? Mm-hmm. That is so crucial in a game like this, right? Because, whether they make plays or we miss a kick or something, right? It's how you deal with it in the moment and how can you, remember we talked about DP, once they get off track, get them back on. Once they get off track, get them back on, and then eventually they won't get off track. I think one of the things that we need to see, and I can't speak for you, so this is a kind of statement question if my lingo is right, is I would like to see, or we would like to see, speaking half-heartedly for you guys, is watching the game, right, and looking at each other and shaking our head noticeably and say, you know what? I see improvement. I see exactly improvement from, A, B, and C player, A, B, and C group, because I think sometimes, and this is what I saw last night with Clemson and Duke, this is where I was going to say if you watched it, is a team kind of come in and I wouldn't say that had gone through the motions, but can kind of be used to the routine in Clemson, show up and be the assumptive favorite, all of a sudden get punched in the mouth, and things don't go your way, right? Clemson had two or three turnovers in the red zone. I know two for sure. Led to 15 points for Duke. Game over, set match. Sometimes you can't overcome it. Nebraska's the same way, right? Had some things. But if you clean those things up, then all of a sudden, all is forgotten because you actually made improvement there. Now, how can you do that, right? Now, I'm just going to say this, and I want to hand it off to you guys. I think more film study, attention to detail, and personal accountability. Yes, the coaches need to do a better job of of putting players in a better position to kind of like when you're first driving with a young kid, right, DP, and you're trying to teach them to drive, right? You got to tell them, hey, you got to look in your blind spot 3 seconds earlier. Forget what they said in the manual. You got to guide them through it, right? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean
that's also part of it too. I mean, I want to hear what you guys. I mean, tell me if I'm wrong, right? Kind of in outer space, or someone in his atmosphere.
Well, it was funny because so we sat. I was directly behind the Huskers bench during the game,
okay.
and the eyes on. What gave me comfort was the players leaning on each other during timeouts.
Right. Oh yeah, that's good.
Right, that there was some self-love, some in-staff therapy going on, more so along the players than the coaches to the players, but from player to player.
Okay.
And it gave me some hope. Now, what my hope is that team-led teams get better, but that also that the leaders, that the coaches also dive in to that space. I think there's a little gap, a small enough gap that can be fixed. It can be fixed. That space can be maneuvered. But it is that thing, Jay, of them learning, asking each other, what do you see? What's going on here? What do you want to do here? What can we do here? We were close enough to hear those questions being asked from player to player more so than coach to player. I think the next transition, the next big step this week requires that not only do those conversations continue, but that the conversations between the players and coaches also happen. It's going to be crazy in Boulder. they're gonna need to lean on each other so that they can lean on them.
Oh, hey man, I told you about when I played in Kansas City, right? At that time, I think you asked me what the craziest place to play at.
Yeah.
Well, in Kansas City, I remember coming out of the game. First of all, my head was ringing, and the only thing that stopped my head from ringing was the sweet taste of victory and the sweet smell of the barbecue in the parking lot. Otherwise, I don't think I talked to another human being, DP, for 4 hours.
Right.
Because it was worthless. I tried to talk to Keith Newman, who was my linebacker mate, as you're supposed to communicate, and it was null and void. So then we had a hand signals and, things that we already had in place, and we had repped them in practice. Now, how does that, draw into the Colorado game? Well, listen, this is an atmosphere. Now, granted, like when we went into Colorado, we were a well-oiled machine. They were a well-oiled machine. We loved. I mean, us on defense loved looking across at a team that we could possibly lose to, because we knew we were going to unleash something on them that they weren't physically and mentally ready for. Right. So it was kind of like we liked the game when it was more down and dirty. You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like that was kind of like our wheelhouse. Like we loved the pressure. Whereas these guys need to understand is you're going into an atmosphere never seen before, and this is an atmosphere that you will never forget. But that doesn't mean that you play apprehensive. That means you actually dictate the atmosphere and actually just overexert yourself, not physically, but like what I'm saying, don't start throwing punches, right?
Yeah.
Because something's going to land. Now, they got to be detailed, right? You just don't come in there without your guard up, for a boxing analogy. But you don't sit there and get punched in the face and take jabs. And, you're getting, kind of like the Rocky movie, your head getting snapped back. And then all of a sudden you decide to fight when, when it's too late. This is a game. Hopefully you learn from the Minnesota week that you start as fast as you can, and it starts this week. This should not be a game where or a week in practice where a coach should be asking you to ramp it up, right? This should be a week where you're on the border of crazy, because that's what you got to deal with. And this atmosphere is going to be something that you dictate, right?
If
you start fast, go ahead.
I was, if I can jump in, that's something that I was asking about too. I don't think any of the guys on the team really understand what Nebraska-Colorado means, how to get to that manic energy because it's Colorado week. How do you get them to that point if they don't fully understand the history or what goes into a big game like that?
Well, I don't know. I know because Hannibal Navies is a good friend of mine. Number one, Hannibal Navies magically ended up on their sidelines down in Dallas. He lives in Atlanta, but somehow he was brought down there to Dallas.
Right.
Another thing is now Hannibal has left Atlanta and he's in Boulder.
Shocker.
I know, a few other those guys are explaining them, from when they were competitive against us. Obviously, they're not, bringing them back, the guys that have been getting their butt kicked. I mean, all the players are back, but the guys that are talking to the team this week, periodically around the team all week, are guys that were around it. I know Chad Brown's there because we have the same agent and trying to somehow get dinner with them around all the other stuff that we got to do. Peter Schaefer. And so he had a lot of college, like Alfred Williams, who's long time. This is way back even before me. He played with the Broncos. Those guys are, trying to bring them back, or go back and kind of spread their love. And so to tell them about the intensity of what it means. And so, I'm sure they're pulling out all stops up there, and, it's up to Coach Rule and those guys to, make sure that those guys are prepared, and so embrace it, understand it, but then also you will dictate the crowd, right? Everybody's going to be raucous at the beginning. You come out and play well, you won't have to worry about them. You come out there and kind of, play footsie with them. You know what I'm saying? Then it'll kind of, it's like a plague that will kind of, will grow and grow and grow. And so you have to be the Clorox or whatever to get rid of it from the get go. But you win the Colorado game how you practice. You don't win the Colorado game showing up and adjusting. And not adjusting is the wrong description. You don't win the Colorado game Saturday at 10 a.m. or whatever time the kickoff is. You win the game in Colorado whenever you started your preparation, and also your preparation including rectifying what you need to get better at. That's how you win the Colorado game.
Yeah, I jumped back a week to Matt Rule's public statement that it's not about starting fast, it's about finishing well. I have to bump against that this week. If you go to Boulder with all the hype, they need to.
You got me locking the step with you, my brother.
Yeah, they're gonna have to.
I'm jumping on your piggyback because and I understand what Matt Rule was saying. You don't, because Nebraska's done a job in the past jumping out the leads and just faltering in the way there. So he's saying he probably meant to say, I just don't want to start fast. I want to finish fast or finish fast. That's what everybody wants to do. They got to get their motor going early. You know what I'm saying? And you got to have a plan A and plan B, and then go from there and make sure that you're able to dictate the pace and the way that you want. And if you start a little slow, have a, plan in your back pocket. You need to be prepared for everything. And you didn't see many trick plays from Colorado, right? And they didn't need him against TCU.
Didn't have to.
I'm willing to bet that you're going to need that they're going to have a trick play or two if they get a 7 or 10 point lead. Be prepared for everything, and be plan accordingly.
It's going to be an insane week. It'll be a great weekend. It's football, and it has meaning and value, and there's some talent and there's some stories. This is why we get into this for weeks like this, where things happen, and naturally, organically, we've got a game that matters, and it involves the Nebraska Huskers. Austin takes the break. This is Old School. We'll be right back.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Load up on meat and more this summer at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese at 84th and Haviland. This week's specials through September 5th are $2 off 8-ounce grass-finished sirloins. And don't forget to check out their Friday feast this week and every week. Plus, big news, they have 2 new locations now open at 30th and Yankee Hill in Lincoln and 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town. Brown Shoe Fit has all types of shoes for you to excel this fall. Check out their large variety of tennis shoes and dress shoes in brands like Brooks, Hoka, Merrell, On, and many more. Browns has the local professionals to get the proper fit, aided by their high-tech foot scanner by Aetrex. Stop by Brown Shoe Fit today, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln, or check out their options online at brownshoefitco.com.
If you're in Lincoln, Waverly, or the surrounding area, listen up. Select Plumbing gets it right the first time on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate at 402-560-6197. Plus, they're hiring service plumbers. If you're in Lincoln, Waverly, or the surrounding area, contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
Arnold's Tavern in Havelock is the place to be this summer and the best place in town for shuffleboard. Come on Wednesdays and learn from some of the best players in town for the Shuffleboard Corner. Come on Sundays for Open House League all day starting at 11 a.m. and enjoy $3 tall boys and $3 wells. Shake off the start to the work week with karaoke on Monday nights. And don't forget, happy hour is every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and you are always welcome to bring in your own food. Arnold's Tavern in the heart of Havelock.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Tailored Lights is your go-to local manufacturer and installer of the best landscape lighting. Tailored Lights is excited to highlight the architecture of your home or business and provide a warm environment that feels safe. And for those outside the Lincoln area, they do ship across the country and are happy to work with anyone near or far with lights anywhere from 18 inches to 110 inches. Enhance your curb appeal with an exquisite tailored light today. Call 402-432-2572 or go to tailoredlights.com.
It's game on at Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, and they've scouted out the best Kawasaki side-by-side deals for you. Score up to $2,500 off the 2023 Kawasaki Terex and up to $1,000 off Mule Pro FX and FXCs. Whether you want to handle the toughest task in a trusted, tried and true mule or looking to dominate adventure in a Terex, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln has you covered with a large selection of Kawasaki side-by-sides in stock at their new 27th and I-80 location. Hurry in, the clock is running down. Offer valid through 9/30/2023. Subject to change without notice. Offer available on approved purchases of select new unregistered Kawasaki vehicles. Model and year exclusions apply. Cannot be combined with promotional retail financing rates. Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call at 402-466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started. Attention all Wings fans. 89-cent wings are back on Tuesdays at Buffalo Wings and Rings in Lincoln. Enjoy the best wings in town for boneless or traditional at a price that makes the whole family happy. And now at the Williamsburg Village Wings and Rings, you can enjoy $1.50 tall boys in Bud Light, Coors Light, Busch Light, and Michelob Ultra every day after 7 p.m. and all day on Sundays. Get to Wings and Rings today and make sure to stop by on Tuesdays for 89-cent wings.
Are you working in or looking to get into the electrical construction industry? The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
If you or someone you know is having thoughts of suicide or experiencing a mental health or substance use crisis, call 988 for free, confidential, and compassionate support. On July 16th, the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline is transitioning to 988. There is hope. For 24/7 support, call, text, or chat 988.
Sponsored by Nebraska DHHS, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Tune in to the Teammates Mentoring Hour each Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m. on 93.7 The Ticket. Hear stories from the program started by Tom and Nancy Osborne and how it's changed mentors and mentees' lives and how you can be involved. The Teammates Mentoring Hour, Wednesday nights from 6 to 7 o'clock on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Back to old school with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're back. We are back, bottom of the 4 o'clock hour. Jay Foreman, DP in Austin, spreading a little post-Labor Day love with the Colorado preview and the post-Minnesota post-view, I guess. I know it's a short segment. I wanted to ask you guys, what do you guys think is now Colorado's the easiest, obviously, answer. What do you think the biggest upset of the weekend was? Was it Duke over Clemson, or the comeback of Wyoming over Texas Tech, or Texas State over the Dave Aranda Baylor Bears on the road? Which one?
Jay knows.
You know why? Hey, you know why I say the Baylor Bears? Because Dave Aranda was a foregone conclusion to be the Husker head coach.
You know,
just a few months ago.
Well, Jay knows. Having lived and coached in Texas, that nothing gives me as much joy. Like there was a stretch where I almost rooted against Baylor more than I did Texas. Woo. Because Baylor, they have zero idea about who they are as people. Like in the pecking order of the world, right? That in the pecking order of the world, people from Baylor think that they are on the Mount Rushmore of culture, identity, personality, money.
Yeah.
And then you just whisper to them, in your state.
Yeah, Baylor people. Even Texas will just go buy, the Jay-Z, bottle of, I don't know what kind of liquor he has, and they'll just flash their money, right? Baylor. This is from my time in Texas. Baylor people will have you over and have, the best cigars, and then they'll open up their cognac room and say, "Oh, this is like 200 years old," and have you guess how much it costs, and then it tastes like doo doo.
Yeah.
But you better tell them how great they are. Baylor people are different. So I'm gonna assume DP, your answer is Baylor losing to Texas State. What about you, Austin?
That one's up there. Can I go off the wall and say Indiana keeping it within 3 touchdowns with Ohio State? Like, I know they didn't win, so if you're taking teams that won, yeah, I give it to Texas State over Baylor, but Indiana I thought was in the Northwestern conversation for bad. Ohio State's offense was really kept in check. So I don't know if I was pleasantly surprised by Indiana, disappointed in Ohio State, not really making the statement that I think they needed to in week 1 with all the conversation about Michigan and Penn State. So I guess I'll tip my cap to Indiana for keeping that one interesting most of the way through.
Jay, let me ask, bro. Watching Duke and Clemson last night.
Yeah.
I laughed out loud more during that game than I have any football game in a decade. Because it was Duke.
Yes.
Pummeling Dabo on national television. And
for 60 minutes.
Oh, and this was a beatdown. Like this was
that beatdown was like you're running 12 gases until you throw up. But I think the funniest thing about Dabo, right? Because they have a joke down here in Charlotte and in South Carolina, because you're closer to Columbia, South Carolina, and Charlotte than obviously Clemson, is that Dabo thinks he's like the white version of Martin Luther King, right? Just because that's who he thinks he is. And so but the funniest thing is, like, people took joy in watching Dabo not be able to figure it out. Because those are the games that usually they get it going, right? The hand-picked quarterback, you run the number 1 prospect off. He's jettisoned to Oregon State, right? He couldn't work. It was all his fault last year. And here's the quarterback that, is going to lead them back to the promised land. They have 2 running backs and all this, so forth and so on. Numerous first-round picks on defense, like always. And they muster up 7 points.
Let me throw this to you guys. I talked about this a little bit during On the Block. I think there are a lot of similarities between Dabo and also Jim Harbaugh. Just march to the beat of their own drum, say some things that leave you kind of puzzled. I also don't fully get the Clemson hate. Again, I'm not down in Charlotte. I don't have those, connections like you guys do. But let's not forget Dabo was the one that took Alabama down. So to me, I was just kind of surprised to see people dunking on Dabo and Clemson like they were last night. Maybe I shouldn't be, but I was.
Oh, they were Daryl Dawkins dunking on him last night, man.
They definitely, they chocolate thunder Dabo here. I think it's because Dabo went from the hero to the villain, and that's what usually happens. Same with Jim Harbaugh, from like Stanford or whatever, and then he gets up to Michigan, and you just go a little bit too far, feel himself a little bit. He figured he had the market cornered on college football, which a couple of, look, he's a national championship coach. He's a great coach. Don't get me wrong. I just think that Dabo got over his skis a little bit, and he never rebounded. And sometimes and you see this sometimes, and you saw this a lot obviously at Penn State with their issues. When you're in those small kind of towns off the beaten path, even though you're the only show in town, you become bigger than life, and you can dictate a lot of things outside of football. And Dabo got into that, and I don't think he ever kind of came back of it. But I think, look, once you reach a height of where Clemson did, and they still are. I mean, look, they are one of the better programs in the nation. You're always gonna have people shooting arrows up at you, and they're not shooting arrows down at you. So I think the funniest part last night before we go to break here is how Duke beat them, right? with Daniel Dimes, Daniel Jones, like 2.0, maybe even a better version. And then you turned around, like Duke's defense looked like Clemson.
Mm-hmm.
They scored enough points, made you turn it over, bend but don't break, and then their defense pummeled Clemson. They had just as much speed. They had just as much size. They were definitely as physical and maybe more physical. And it, once the game, and they really stepped on Clemson's neck, and that's the way Clemson had been for a very long time. It's maybe at the top of the next hour before I gotta go is that we need to talk about this Florida State shellacking of LSU and the SEC, right? Because I think a lot of times the SEC, I wouldn't say it's fool's gold. I know people on the text line, go ahead and light me up, but when you play 8 conference games versus 9, your winning percentage goes up because half of the teams would have another loss. That's just common sense, right? And then you get higher rankings. Then you go to bigger bowl games. Well, then you control the off-season media, which sets you up ahead of the preseason media, which you're essentially starting, in a 400-meter race, you're already at 200 meters before the other teams are starting in the blocks at 0, right? And so now when you play a team like Florida State and they beat the brakes off a team that they possibly thought that was going to be in the national title hunt on national TV, the SEC had a bad weekend starting it off. We'll see how this goes and how it changes the perception because the Giant Conference, in my opinion, hasn't been that. But, one game or one weekend doesn't tell everything. But when you look at it, what other teams are doing and what they hadn't been doing for about 10 to 15 years, that's surely going to change here with the conferences expanding.
Lots to cover, man. Hour number 2 coming up with Jay Foreman, Austin Norman. I'm DP. This is Old School.
You're listening to Old School with DP and J. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. The home of Kansas City Royals baseball. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Is this you? You feel the same way every day, and it's not good. You may think there's a magic pill that can fix you. There isn't. Limitless Male has found that the majority of men who admit they feel bad are suffering with low testosterone, which can cause these symptoms: low energy, brain fog, belly fat, muscle loss, low libido. Sound familiar? Get your testosterone checked at Limitless Male. Your first consult is free. Insurance accepted.
Warning, this ad will use the F word often, so listen at your own risk. Family fun, fun with friends, freedom from fuel, free Yeti cooler, free driveway delivery. Hey, this is Carl from Nebraska Golf Carts and Priced Right Auto, and we have the all-electric Bentelli Fun Carts, and they are a blast. Plenty of fun colors, and these street-legal carts come with both 4 and 6 passenger. Tell us you heard us on the ticket and get a free Yeti cooler with your purchase. Hurry, supply is limited. Check them out at 1235 West O in Lincoln or NebraskaGolfCarts.com.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just a professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at PAHLincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, our passion. For happier, healthier furry friends. Load up on meat and more this summer at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese at 84th and Howard. This week's specials through September 5th are $2 off 8-ounce grass-finished sirloins. And don't forget to check out their Friday feast this week and every week. Plus, big news, they have 2 new locations now open at 30th and Yankee Hill in Lincoln and 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Experience the Landmark difference with the next level of dealer support. Landmark, your local John Deere dealer, continually works to have parts on hand the first time you walk in the door. Our internal route system means we can get the parts to you typically same or next day to keep you up and running. At Landmark, we understand time is money. Get more uptime with our after-hours parts and service support on the phone or in the field. Our sales, precision ag, parts, and service teams are ready to serve you this planning season. Stop by your local Landmark today to experience the Landmark difference.
College football in Lincoln, America. The time has come. Start your game day off right with the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Join the ticket crew as they bring you all the coverage you need to get you ready for the action. It's the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show, powered by Sunbelt Rentals. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group of BHHS Ambassador, Select Plumbing, Jimmy John's, Lincoln Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits, Fleet Beef, Yours Cheese Spread on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Brown Shoe Fit has all types of shoes for you to excel this fall. Check out their large variety of tennis shoes and dress shoes in brands like Brooks, Hoka, Merrell, On, and many more. Browns has the local professionals to get the proper fit, aided by their high-tech foot scanner by Atrex. Stop by Brown Shoe Fit today, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln, or check out their options online at brownshoefitco.com. Too many people believe that chronic pain, allergies, or illness are permanent and something you're stuck with. Novotny Nutrition and Wellness has been proving that narrative wrong for 29 years and changing lives for the better in the process. Their team is trained in the newest, most advanced pain-relieving techniques and ways to deal with toxins, allergies, pollution, and emotion that make you ill. Call today for a free consultation at 531-254-5695 or go to novotnynutritionandwellness.com. Novotny Nutrition and Wellness, located at 7th and Superior. Integrated Life Choices has been inspiring opportunities for individuals with disabilities for more than 15 years in Lincoln and across Nebraska by offering a number of services. From group homes to independent living resources and job training, you'll find the support that allows people to live fulfilling lives. They're also hiring. If you're looking for a rewarding career supporting people with developmental disabilities, you can check out open positions along with learning more about services at ilc.net. Integrated Life Choices.
Ironhide Construction has an immediate opening for an administrative assistant in their Lincoln office. The ideal candidate will have experience performing a variety of general office, administrative, and clerical duties. If you have excellent communication, interpersonal, and organizational skills, and are the type of person who enjoys keeping track of all the fine details, then this job is for you. Learn more online at ironhideconstruction.com/careers. Ironhide Construction, quality buildings and genuine service at a reasonable price.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Winds will slowly relax as we head into tonight. We'll see an overnight low dropping down to around 56. An air quality alert has been issued for our Wednesday as smoke and haze will be quite thick across the region. Temperatures, though, will be quite pleasant. We should reach an afternoon high of around 81. Lows tomorrow night dropping off down to 54. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is Old School, sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. Broadcasting veteran Derek Pearson.
When you find something that moves that makes them smile, celebrate it. That's your task. That's your superpower.
Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Rifles a pass. It was tipped. It's picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score!
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We are back. Jay Foreman, DP Austin. This is Old School. Brought to you the new school way. Brought to you by the Mercado, Certified Piedmontese, Special Ingredients and Butcher Shop. Located at 84th and Havelock. Every type of meat and every type of cut. Go in there and ask them what's up. I would advise everybody to get all their meats and cuts Thursday, Friday, and probably maybe Saturday morning, but wake up early, get that grill fired up, and get some victory meals going. So, like we mentioned before the break, I wanted to ask you guys about the SEC, Brian Kelly, LSU, his comments afterward. definitely felt like a coach that did not have an idea of what he saw or what happened. What's your guys' opinion on Brian Kelly and LSU after this weekend?
Well, coaches get humbled. Coaches get humbled. Like, we like to believe as coaches that we know what we know. 100 with absolute percentage, we know what we know.
Right.
And so we know that, okay, if I've poured 100% into this cup, that the retention on the way I pour it, it's like pouring a Guinness. You know through perfection how to get it the right level, the right texture, and other. And then all of a sudden, when it pours differently and it doesn't show up that way, it's humbling to go everything I know versus everything I think I know. So his message throughout the entire summer was that the work is good, the players are good, the scheme is good, we're going to be really good. Except you have an opponent. You have an opponent who is putting in work too. And they have more tape on you than you have on them.
Right.
And if you don't change and alter and elevate your game, people are going to catch up. It happens in UFC, happens in the NBA. The Bucks figured that out. The Celtics figured that out. The Lakers figured that out. It happens in football, and in college football, Mr. Coach Kelly found out. I've got to do better. I got to be better at communicating. I got to be better at getting my coaches in line. And then ultimately within the game, he has to be able to adjust. And I think that's the part that kicked him in the gut, was that he couldn't pull the trigger in game to make it all work.
How much a big deal do you think it was for them having one of the most dominant defensive players, or, dropping in the coverage, spying a quarterback, and the lack of pass rush that obviously was a direct reflection of that? Do you think that was Coach Kelly, a defensive coordinator, a whole coaching staff mistake, or really going into the season and overthinking how much better we can make an already dominant player be by having him do something that he's not dominant at?
Oh, I think it's absolutely. That's the thing, and they didn't have any answers. Being a top assistant is the responsibility is that when Coach Kelly turns to you and says, "What am I missing? What am I missing? Like, what can we do? Give me something. Give me something, Jay. You've been in that conversation. Give me something. What can we do here?" Right? That everything that you thought was going to work, you trained it the right way, you coached it the right way, and it's just not landing and it's just not being executed. You're asking questions. Hey, do we have the right players out there? Do we have the right players around the players? Are we putting them in the right scheme? Are we misidentifying what we think they're doing against us? And Chip Kelly has had a group of people who always had a call and response for him. That's a part of his greatness as a coach, is that his coaches communicate to him at a higher level than most coaches in those positions. That's why he's who he is. It's not so much that he's the genius. It's that he's figured out how to communicate with his coaches on such a high vibration and frequency that it gets him out of troubled situations. You can those watch me coaches, Jay, watch this. I'm going to add to this. Watch this. No, the moment you have to say watch this means you're going outside of your lane. You're going outside of what already works, and you're going outside of success. And that's what it looked like to me, that they got cute. Cute will get you beat in big-time college football. Cute always gets you beat.
Right. Yeah, I agree, man. I was just waiting. I can't speak for you guys, Austin and DP. I was waiting for him to let them, or for them to let Perkins do what he does best, affect the game, both in the run and pass game. It never came to fruition. It was like, you worked all summer, and then yes, whatever you did was working. I think that's what separates the good and great coaches. I think Brian Kelly's a good coach. I have not come to the conclusion that he's a great coach, and that's not a knock, but I just don't think he's in the upper echelon of coaches, because I think some guys, sometimes with your experience as a head coach, you should be able to tell an assistant coach, look, man, I love you, but this stuff is not working. Go back to what we know has worked for 13 games last year. for the 13th game, and the culmination was Perkins essentially dominating a Purdue team. I don't care if Jeff Brom is there, but the Big Ten runner-up championship team by himself, doing what he does best. Why he's on everybody's draft board potentially in a year or two, because I think he's only a true sophomore, but being the number one pick. You don't get brought up and as the number one pick in the whole draft if you haven't done something dominating, right? Or if you don't have a dominating attribute. It was just weird to me that you had somebody that was a trendsetter, a game changer, literally being a stacked linebacker. It's almost like you're trying to convince the pros he can play a stacked linebacker when all the pros that the scouts that were at that game wanted to see how many, plays he could affect the game, and he never got a chance to, which then boiled over to the offense because that put more pressure on Daniels in the offense to do something that they didn't want to do. They couldn't run the ball. Florida State became more physical and had their second wind or, caught their second wind faster. And then you got into desperation mode, and it will not be a good week for Brian Kelly because this is the second time losing to Florida State in this game. And this time, last year you could say, well, we recovered from it. Florida State kind of got lucky, so forth and so on. This one right here was a butt kicking. And considering what Alabama did, considering what Georgia's bringing, considering what Tennessee's done, along with, say, Auburn and Arkansas, all these other teams, Ole Miss, LSU could be looking at a season where they never get off the launch pad, which then, as we know down in LSU, it can become, even though people in Nebraska says Nebraska can be very toxic, down in LSU can be very toxic and very, I always say DEFCON 1, very quickly down there overnight because they will get you up out of there.
Of all the I think top 10 or top 8 ranked teams to lose a game by 21 points or more in a season opener, I think 4 of the 8 that's happened to didn't even finish the season ranked. I don't think that's where we're heading with LSU, but we've kind of seen that boom bust element from that university and that program before, from kind of middling to you get Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, you go 15-0, set all sorts of offensive records, to falling kind of back off the map that next year, not backing it up, to a really good season last year, bouncing back from that opening loss to take down Alabama and win the SEC West. LSU has as high a ceiling as anybody in the country, but they don't do what, Georgia and Alabama do and back it up with having a high floor all the time as well. Like, that's a program that we've seen the bottom drop out, relatively speaking of, and that just tells me the culture in that place is kind of more emotional than it is stable.
Yeah. I mean, you got some heavy hitters down there. They've had a wide variety of success. You go all the way back to, Nick Saban, and then, he left and they went a downturn, but they always have great players putting them in the league. Les Miles did really good there. And then, it seemed like his message became stale. Then they're like, oh man, he wasn't so bad. Then you get to Joe Burrow and you have that run, right? And then all of a sudden that sometimes when you deal in the moment or think in the moment, it masks all the previous, turbulent times. Well, at Orgeron, I think he was like 16-8 or something afterwards, which we would have probably died for at that point in time. And then they ran him out, gave him a $17 million check. And so instead of having a magical acquisition through the transfer portal, i.e. Joe Burrow, well, they did it in the middle of the night on, in the middle of a private jet flight. Brian Kelly, by the time he landed at, potentially going to a recruit's house, after Lincoln Riley went to USC, he was going to LSU. So the dominoes really fell pretty quick, right? But it didn't change internally what they need to get done. But I do agree with you, Austin. I think they'll rebound. I still think they'll be a player at the end of the season. I still think they're going to be a tough out. I was just very surprised at the lack of, let's just say, DP, correct me. I mean, I'm going to ask you if this is a good description. The lack of innovation from last year, right? I just felt like that game was rinse and repeat LSU, but holy smokes, FSU looked like the real deal and look like they have gotten more innovative.
Oh, 100%. The Noles got to work. Look, they were embarrassed. Florida State's been embarrassed by its production, its talent, its coaching, its development, all those things. Sound familiar? It's been embarrassed, and then it got to work. And it said, we're going to rebrand, reimagine what Florida State football should actually be. And then they went out and got people that committed to it. And look, they took the challenge. Like, this is what you want for any program that you care about. That, you know what? They didn't get comfortable in being average. They didn't accept getting your heads kicked in by powerhouse programs. They went and said, you know what? We're not going to accept excuses. And the best way to show this thing is for us to go all in. We think we know what Coach Kelly's going to do because we've got tracking for it. They have no idea the new standard that we've set. That's how you change the standard. That's how you change cultures and programs. Work.
Yeah.
They put in work, and Chip Kelly didn't, and it showed. But I don't think Chip Kelly's done. I think this to me lands the way the whole Tebow Florida thing, where Tebow said, "Okay, I'm never going to let this happen again."
Right.
Like, I think this is an opportunity for Kelly.
Yeah, I think he was embarrassed. I mean, you know, there's very few times that you see a coach, I wouldn't look dumbfounded, but then also embarrassed, and he was more shocked, right? And you're let down. I mean, DP, we've been there, right? Where you think your team's prepared, the matchup is good, you feel, you know, you're healthy, you're physical, you got a good quarterback, you got everything you need, and you probably hit all your check marks or benchmarks at practice, you know, or whatever you as you're ongoing evaluating through the offseason, and you go out there and lay an egg. I think the physicality is probably the more worrisome thing. I think coaches can do a good job of going back and self-scouting really quickly, because I think even when a coach calls a great game, there's always plays they doubt themselves, or like, I wish I had this play back. Even as a player, you know, you do that. So I think those fixes are pretty, I wouldn't say easy, but more readily available, because you can call on mentors, you can call on other people that might not be emotionally invested into the game plan, right? So say you have a colleague or somebody that, you know, maybe, you know, a year out of football, and they can give you an honest evaluation. But when you get beat physically, then you have to really wonder, okay, well, did we push the guys far enough? Were we going hard enough? Did we start reading our press clippings and just assume that we would be physical, and so forth and so on, and got, you know, a little too happy and gluttony of, you know, turning on X or Twitter or Instagram or ESPN and the preseason shows, and you see the LSU and Brian Kelly, this is the year and this is missed. Sometimes you can, you know, lose your edge a little bit, and you can get it back, but you have to recognize that when and how you lost your edge, and then therefore it'd be easier to kind of, you know, sharpen that sword for a second.
Jay, I immediately thought of Foreman Frazier 1, and that Joe Frazier is one of the great bullies of all time, one of the great physical fighters, tough fighters, and pure bangers in history. And the moment you find out that your toughness isn't what you thought it was,
right?
Like, it's just wow to watch the look on his face that it wasn't the scheme part. It's that we're getting our heads kicked in. Like, we're being moved around. Yeah. Like, as you said, you can go into the club with your boys and feel like you the dude until that one bouncer gets his hands on you, throw you out the club. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And you go, wait a minute. Right. Like, I got all his clothes on. You already got $75 of my money, and my girl's still inside, and this dude just manhandled me, threw me out of the club, and took all of that away. That's all of it. That's what just happened.
Yeah, they, you know, really the analogy is, a funny analogy is like, essentially, you know, you hike the pants up, and hike your pants up, took you by your belt buckle, smack you on the butt, and threw you out the club, and then shut the door, out the back door too, right in the alley.
Right.
So you couldn't get back in, you know, like in the movies, you know. So, you know, I think it's one of those things that, you know, you got to challenge the players. You know, the coaches got to challenge themselves. It is one game. I'm sure they wanted to be undefeated. I'm sure, but, you know, that's the risk you take, and that's also commendable too, right? when you're, where you're playing a non-conference game, but you're playing a real team. That's commendable, because very easily, you could be ducking teams and playing, Cupcake University and stuff, so forth and so on. So, when Florida State is going to be a team to be reckoned with, they're going to be able to match you physically. They're going to be able to match you athlete to athlete. And to be honest with you, I think the biggest shock was when they saw number 4, 13, and the other big receiver out there. I think it was more, holy smokes, they actually are more athletic and more athlete than us. Yeah. I think that's what the biggest takeaway is. Yeah. Because whether it's Coleman, Travis, or all, a combination, those guys rolling out there and looking at guys that are, a lot better looking and can do things that maybe they can't even do. LSU doesn't have to face that very often. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, right.
They don't have to face that. I mean, they're used to rolling out there and being the best, even in the SEC. Even so when LSU plays like Arkansas, right? And Arkansas generally always has, DP 3 or 4 guys go in the league a year, but they're not as good a looking team as LSU. You see LSU, everybody that plays for LSU used to assume that they're going into the NFL sooner or later.
Yep.
They're hitting the height, weight, size, speed ratios every single time. Well, when you looked over at Florida State, there's holy smokes. This guy really recruited well. They developed well. They transfer portal well. And their quarterback, Travis, put himself on the map. Not like Shedeur Sanders, but he outplayed Daniels. And then so maybe you have a little buyer's remorse, right? Because you got to think LSU was taking a look at Travis from the very beginning, but Brian Kelly said he wasn't good enough. So those are the type of things that can come back to bite you, especially when you're playing, we call it like versus like. They look like you, they play like you, they have the attitude like you, and they want to win like you. And those are hard games to win. And if you don't have the edge and you don't have the continuity, and last year means nothing, you can kind of, jump up and get embarrassed, like they were the other night.
No, I felt bad for LSU fans because they've had that that athletic arrogance that fans can have, and that was shattered in a night. Oh, yeah. I think, and here's the thing, we see LSU again. LSU will knock off a top 5 team this year. They may knock off 2 top 10 teams. They will get better and they will play because they were humbled. They got humbled. Sometimes you don't want the humbling because you play, as you say, you play patty cake and you just get wins and move along. Or you can get your head kicked in, get battled, grow some skin, and then get back after it. I think they're more the latter than the first, that they're more inclined to get to work and make a difference. Unfortunately for them, they're in the LSU, they're in the SEC, and they're going to face some dogs. So there's that.
Well, it's me interesting to see, man. We're going to go to break, come right back. I want to ask you guys real quick before I jump off when we come back. Who is the best looking Big Ten team that you guys saw this weekend? Because I think it varies all across the board. And also want to ask you guys to put a little bug in your ear. I kind of have a feeling who DP is going to say. Who do you think was one of the breakout players?
Say it.
And unless they slash I told you so type of players that broke out. Jake Foreman, DP, Austin. We'll be right back.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Too many people believe that chronic pain, allergies, or illness are permanent and something you're stuck with. Novotny Nutrition and Wellness has been proving that narrative wrong for 29 years and changing lives for the better in the process. Their team is trained in the newest, most advanced pain-relieving techniques and ways to deal with toxins, allergies, pollution, and emotion that make you ill. Call today for a free consultation at 531-254-5695 or go to novotnynutritionandwellness.com. Novotny Nutrition and Wellness, located at 7th and Superior.
Arnold's Tavern in Havelock is the place to be this summer and the best place in town for shuffleboard. Come on Wednesdays and learn from some of the best players in town for the Shuffleboard Corner. Come on Sundays for Open House League all day starting at 11 a.m. and enjoy $3 tall boys and $3 wells. Shake off the start to the work week with karaoke on Monday nights. And don't forget, happy hour is every day from 3 to 6 p.m., and you are always welcome to bring in your own food. Arnold's Tavern in the heart of Havelock. Sandhills Global is hiring. Check out sandhills.jobs for more information. Sandhills is looking to fill hundreds of new openings in sales, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Sandhills has a professional culture and is fast-paced with a focus on growth, innovation, and leading-edge technologies. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Apply today at sandhills.jobs. Gray Diesel and Equipment Services is your go-to place in Lincoln for repairs and maintenance for diesel pickups to Class 8 over-the-road trucks and trailers, from bumper pole utility to full-size semi. Gray performs DOT inspections and are a service provider for fleet companies like ARI, Element Fleet, and FleetNet. They're a family-owned business in operation since 1952, and they keep a clean, friendly shop. Customer service is their top priority. Give Gray Diesel and Equipment Services a visit today with easy access just off I-80 and North 56th Street.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Accelerate your financial journey. With Kasasa Cash, experience the thrill of earning more with each transaction or the freedom to withdraw your cash from any ATM nationwide. Not to mention, no monthly service fees. It's the power of earning up to 5.5% APY on your Kasasa Cash with Liberty First Credit Union. Earn rewards beginning at a penny, continuing up to $40,000. Visit libertyfirstcu.com for details. Federally insured by NCUA. Liberty First Credit Union. Banking with purpose. Account qualifications apply.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is now open in Lincoln. Shop our expansive collection of wine, beer, spirits, and cigars at 5040 North 27th Street. From top-shelf liquor to crowd-favorite beer, Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits has a beverage for every taste and every budget. Plus, join our loyalty program to earn rewards and save on future purchases. Shop Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits at 5040 North 27th Street in Lincoln. That's 5040 North 27th Street.
It's game on at Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, and they've scouted out the best Kawasaki side-by-side deals for you. Score up to $2,500 off the 2023 Kawasaki Teryx and up to $1,000 off Mule Pro FX and FXCs. Whether you want to handle the toughest task in a trusted, tried and true mule, or looking to dominate adventure in a Teryx, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln has you covered with a large selection of Kawasaki side-by-sides in stock at their new 27th and I-80 location. Hurry in, the clock is running down. Offer valid through 9/30/2023. Subject to change without notice. Offer available on approved purchases of select new unregistered Kawasaki vehicles. Model and year exclusions apply. Cannot be combined with promotional retail financing rates.
Why are some people more successful? Is it talent and determination, or did they recognize an opportunity? Discover a career that lets you help families reach their financial goals as you build lasting professional relationships. One with unlimited income potential. From Modern Woodman, a leading fraternal financial services provider.
I'm Modern Woodman Regional Director Sean Erickson. Call me at 402-483-6515 to learn about career opportunities.
Modern Woodman of America. Touching lives, securing futures.
Integrated Life Choices has been inspiring opportunities for individuals with disabilities for more than 15 years in Lincoln and across Nebraska by offering a number of services. From group homes to independent living resources and job training, you'll find the support that allows people to live fulfilling lives. They're also hiring. If you're looking for a rewarding career supporting people with developmental disabilities, you can check out open positions along with learning more about services at ilc.net. Integrated Life Choices.
College football in Lincoln, America. The time has come. Start your game day off right with the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Join the ticket crew as they bring you all the coverage you need to get you ready for the action. It's the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show, powered by Sunbelt Rentals. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group of BHHS Ambassador, Select Plumbing, Jimmy John's, Lincoln Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits, Fleet Beef, Yours Cheese Spread on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Back to old school with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We are back. Jay Foreman, DP, my main man, Austin 316. I won't tell Austin how many Carolina fans I ran into since he's a Dookie. But I want to ask you guys from this weekend, just solely on Big Ten play, right? Who was the best looking team, right? Take Michigan out of it, because they obviously played, nobody. But take Michigan out. And then the other question for you two is, who was I'll rephrase it, like the aha player or I told you so player, the guy that kind of popped to you. It doesn't matter what team he played for, whether they won or lost, or what player gave you all right, I've been waiting to see him play.
Austin?
For me, it's going to be more the I told you so, or a little bit of the vindication aspect, and that's Drew Aller at Penn State. I think there were similar expectations for Drew Aller and Cade Klubnik down at Clemson. I know Klubnik had those couple starts at the end of last year, but I was impressed with Aller. 325 yards, 3 touchdowns. I thought Penn State looked the best of that big three in the East between Michigan, Ohio State, and them. I mean, the late touchdown with the 2-point conversion, I'm just going to give them credit for, 7 points for most of the starting defense, but they controlled the game. It was businesslike, didn't do anything, too crazy. They took care of business in the best, most confident way. Aller completing 21 of 29. That's 70% of his passes for 300 yards. Helps to have playmakers like he does, but I felt pretty vindicated in saying Drew Aller was the guy for Penn State.
DP?
Let me say that when I got to Lincoln, Nebraska, I came with luggage. I brought luggage. It was Louis. It was Louis Vuitton, Jay Foreman. And I offered it to Nebraska. And it's happened several times. Several times. Several players from either Charlotte, D.C., or Houston, who, because I was coming to Lincoln, Nebraska, offered their young men. And the opportunities were in play. And identified as there's talent. Not only an elite human being, right? 4.0 student kind of dude. Multi-sport athlete kind of dudes. And I had to explain to folks in East Lansing 2 years ago at the Big Ten Media Days, and I said, I don't know what you're doing in East Lansing. Coach Tucker, I don't know what you're doing. You have a dude on your bench, chilling. He's doing nothing for you. Let him go. He wins the job. Chases a 2-year starter out of the building. Goes 14 of 19 in his first start, right? Or 18 of 31 in his first start for 280 yards and 2 touchdowns. That dude could have been a Husker. All of his receiver buddies could have been Huskers. I'm not even going to say his name. I'm just going to let you know. Him.
Noah Him Kim. We got a new nickname. So you better tell him we need some money. And Noah Him Kim.
He is him. Look, he's a good dude.
Well, man, he knows it. You know what? He throws a pretty ball too. He dropped one in the bucket. So I was rather impressed by him. And look, the best, and another part that if I was coaching, he'd probably have a leg up. His daddy can throw it down on the grill too. So that lets me know, I'll be buttered up, man. Anytime he throws the interception, man, I need some of them spare ribs that his dad showed me that he can make. That makes it even better, man. But I agree with both you guys. The one guy that I kind of was waiting to see, like Austin, was Drew Aller, because you got to think their fans wanted him last year, but Clifford played so well. And James Franklin, he always alluded to this when he was talking about, this year, but he was saying next year, was just wait and see. And you got to see it. I think Penn State is a team that feels very confident in him. I think he brings a different aura. I think the ceiling is definitely higher. And it's hard to say because I think Clifford turned into a pretty dang good quarterback. But I think that he's a legitimate 4 or 5 star recruit that is actually legit. And, it kind of keeps James Franklin, fresh a little bit where he gets to coach this guy and he has unlimited potential. I think Penn State's a team as the season goes on. I think they're going to get better. I don't necessarily know if they can, oust Ohio State or Michigan, but I think, as the season goes on and then going into next year, you're going to hear about Drew Aller out of Penn State a lot more than you have this year, leading into the season. So yeah, I was pleasantly surprised by him. And as far as like the team for me, I'll just say that probably popped to me a little bit. I will say the Maryland Terrapins, because for me, I've always said, the quarterback and the skill position, I felt like their offense was not as explosive because they lost 3 receivers. They got the leading receiver back and their running back, Hegman. But I wanted to see where they were across the defensive line, because that's like kind of been their Achilles heel. And when I watched them, they look bigger, faster, stronger. Maybe obviously not to like Michigan or something like that. But every year you see Mike Locksley recruiting, developing, getting to that Big Ten type of level, in my opinion, defensive line, so he can compete. I think he can scheme up and score points with anybody. He's going to keep athletes from the DMV there, and they're going to have a tremendous opportunity with Under Armour and all that stuff. But I think the most thing was impressed to me was their depth and, their front 7. Let's just not say D-line. Was definitely different. So that kind of popped to me, because I was, we're going to see the same old, 6, 7, 8 wins and possibly, a pretty good bowl game. But I think they can make some noise if they stay healthy.
Yeah, they did a thing. They brought back the old 1980s.
Oh, yeah.
Terps.
Boomer Science.
Yeah, they brought up the Boomer, Rick Bodonic, Frank Wright, Maryland Terps jerseys. And I got it. My inner teen lost his mind and immediately jumped online and ordered. I ordered 2 jerseys this weekend, Jay. I don't normally like. I've tried to behave and not, because I'm a jersey guy. Like, I'm a jersey guy. And then I am. 2 jerseys. 1 Maryland throwback. Had to happen. Had to do it. Number 2, another city that we have in common. The Houston Cougars went Love You Blue.
Oh, man. Baby. Did it big, man. You know what? Let's before we go to break, let's give a shout out to all the, team, I guess, people that decide the uniform people, both all the shoe companies and the people that kind of design. Everybody knocked it out of the park. When you looked at Duke last night, they changed their uniform. Colorado changed their uniform. Houston changed their uniform. Maryland went to throwback. Oregon obviously is always off the chain. It was a good start to college football. College football is back, but nobody missed the mark. You didn't have anything like, oh man, that jersey looked horrible, or this, and this. All the new jerseys that they brought out on it's like the first day of school, you come in with your new outfit back in the day. They definitely were definitely sharp and definitely represented. So I want to give everybody props on that, because it's hit or miss, man. What might look good to them sometimes doesn't look good to the masses, but I'm willing to bet I think a lot of people were impressed and satisfied with what they've done. And the Terps is definitely an iconic deal. I watched North Carolina State, or North Carolina, and South Carolina. I wish North Carolina would come back with the mesh middle jerseys, like because they kept showing highlights of LT. Well, you got to come back with those mesh jerseys, man. I'd even buy one of the Lawrence Taylor's, number 86. So everybody knocked it out, man, and it was a good weekend of college football. Actually, a great weekend of college football. And here we are. We're in another week, coming up right up the pipe.
But here's what's also funny. Give credit to all the powers that be, that in a normal week we would have a certain order and a certain priority. But what's happened in Boulder and what's about to happen in Boulder has flipped the entire thing. Normally, on the Tuesday before the Super Bowl champions take the field on Thursday night, we would be all about it. But this Nebraska-Colorado game, and then the events of college football, one, kudos to college football for spreading the games out and giving us games each day and all the way through. But it's college football took advantage of the bright lights, gave you great storylines, gave you great support, and then great finishes. And again, Jay Foreman, we're 48 hours from the kickoff of the NFL season, and it's still not the lead story. Well done, college football. Well done.
Well done, yeah, and it was well done by the mass marketing of all the stations or networks as well. But I will say this: we'll dive into the defending Super Bowl champions tomorrow, because they deserve their just due, and we'll give all of our Chiefs fans their day in the sun, because you had my man Travis Kelce. The new modern day white chocolate has a little hyperextended knee. Could that affect it? And will the upstart fighting Nick Saner's Detroit Lions pull upset of a lifetime on Thursday night? But with that being said, we're going to go to break. Jay Foreman's got to jump on this bird, so I'm going to leave it to DP and my main man Austin 316, aka JJ Reddick, shooting coach, to take you guys on in. I appreciate you guys working with me, man. I had to take care of some family business, like always, and I'll be back tomorrow. But I'm excited, man. I mean, I'm not playing or anything like that, so I'm excited to see how these young kids embrace this opportunity, and who steps up in this type of moment. Who gets better from last week. It's going to be really, really funny, man. Or not really funny, but it's going to be really interesting to see who's able to take advantage of this opportunity and put themselves on the big map. All eyes are on that game, 10 o'clock. People are going to be just having their mimosas, partying from the night before or whatever it may be, and turning on the game, and you hear your name. Next thing you know, you're going to be you're going to be not just a household name in Nebraska. You could be a nation household name, just like the guys that did it last week for the Colorado Buffaloes.
All good stuff, Jay Foreman. Travel safe, bro. We'll get at you tomorrow. We'll close out old school and set you up. We got some ticket late night, weeknight stuff going for you. Some pretty cool stuff this evening. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Old School with DP and J. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What would you tell a friend who was on the fence about going to Limitless Mail?
I would tell them to go to Limitless today. Don't hesitate. You're going to second guess yourself on if it's the right decision. The staff there is amazing. The treatments work. I'm living proof that it can completely change your life for the better.
Join thousands of men who have changed their lives with testosterone treatment. Slow down the aging process and live life. Schedule your free consult at limitlessmail.com.
If your car has sent you to the sidelines, Eustace Body Shop can help. With gold-class certified technicians, OEM parts, and free loaner cars, Eustace Body Shop is your best choice this Husker season. And with 6 locations across central and eastern Nebraska, we've got you covered, whether you're rooting at home or you're headed to Memorial Stadium. Get a free online quote at EustaceBodyShop.com, and let's get you back in the game.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
Load up on meat and more this summer at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese at 84th and Hamilton. This week's specials through September 5th are $2 off 8-ounce grass-finished sirloins. And don't forget to check out their Friday feast this week and every week. Plus, big news, they have 2 new locations now open at 30th and Yankee Hill in Lincoln and 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
At first, I was really nervous and intimidated to buy a ring. I wasn't sure what I was getting into.
My experience at Starter Heyman was very easy. I felt like I walked out of Starter Heyman with the ring that was going to make her go wow and say yes.
I love my ring. It is so beautiful. I absolutely love my ring. I get compliments on it all the time. I always tell them Starter Heyman Yeah, we would definitely recommend Sauter Heyman.
Yeah, it was great.
We're definitely coming back. Sure.
Sauter Heyman Jewelers, Lincoln and Grand Island. SauterHeyman.com.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy? It's Planet Fitness. Now through September 13th, join for just $1 down, $10 a month, cancel anytime. With over 2,400 locations and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. Plus, with free fitness training and most clubs open 24 hours, everyone belongs in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime. Deal ends Wednesday, September 13th. See Home Club for details.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just the professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, our passion. For happier, healthier furry friends.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and Bob just wanted to say thank you for a record-setting July here at Koppel. The summer sales event continues in August, and the incentives are crazy good. Check this out. We got 0.9% financing along with a $2,500 trade-in rebate on select new models. You heard right. 0.9% financing has been extended along with a trade-in rebate. Also, our GM-certified used inventory is filling up fast, so make that money-saving drive to Koppel. It's just south of the interstate, or shop online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did. All deals with roof credit.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is now open in Lincoln. Shop our expansive collection of wine, beer, spirits, and cigars at 5040 North 27th Street. From top shelf liquor to crowd favorite beer, Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits has a beverage for every taste and every budget. Plus, join our loyalty program to earn rewards and save on future purchases. Shop Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits at 5040 North 27th Street in Lincoln. That's 5040 North 27th Street.
Rosie Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 10th and P or at 1501 Center Park Road.
Sandhills Global is hiring. Check out sandhills.jobs for more information. Sandhills is looking to fill hundreds of new openings in sales, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Sandhills has a professional culture and is fast-paced with a focus on growth, innovation, and leading-edge technologies. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Apply today at sandhills.jobs.
Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions. Back to old school with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
It's been a good afternoon. It's always good to talk with Jay Foreman and let him get you through. Austin Norman handling the biz. Greatly appreciate it. Again, Austin, I don't know if we did it, so we're gonna pay a bill. Let him know about the Mercado.
Certified Piedmontese, every type of meat and every type of cut. The best way to get yourself in the Colorado mood. Their Friday lunch specials. South location, 30th and Yankee Hill. Find yourself out there.
Yep, gotta get it done. Gotta get it done. We've got a nice lineup for you tonight. The Walk-On Weekly with Sam Hoiberg and Jeff Grace III. Nuclear Heat with Bach. WTF with Strick and Cluster. And then at 9 o'clock, we're going to bring in some of the folks from Ignite Lincoln 15. And this event is going to be held at the Rococo Theater. September 14th, 15th. 14th. It is the 14th. And that's a busy day for us at the Ticket.
Understatement of the week.
That's a big day that we've got the Big Red Brunch where we celebrate the 1997 Husker National Champion. So if you don't have your tickets, get them. Get them. $45. Pictures on. There'll be more. There'll be several Husker National Champions there. But the feature that day and up on stage, you'll be able to ask questions, take pictures, get an autograph from Jay Foreman, Amon Green, and Steve Warren. So we'll do that for you. And then Ignite Lincoln that night at the Rococo. 12 presenters, and it's a great fundraising event. Great opportunity, right? Come out. Tickets are cheap. Not that big a deal. Go to Ignite Lincoln. You can get the tickets there, but we'll have some of the presenters on tonight just to kind of introduce themselves and let us talk you into coming out and seeing us. And when I said us, I meant us because I'm also going to present at Ignite Lincoln 15. I actually chose this over a third TED. For now.
Okay.
For now. For now.
Talk to you tomorrow might be TED, but tonight it's Ignite?
No, it's Ignite. The reason being, so I'm a curator for TED, and I did a thing that had not been done before. And the TED people were like, word, this is what's going on. But I'm a consultant in teaching people how to get TEDs and how to put your story together and to break through all of the matrix that is TED and what it means. Well, and they said after my second TED, they said, okay, you've broken the matrix. Now what? And I said, well, I want to do a third because that's a different level of elite. But I've been accepted to 3 places to do my third. So now I know that I can get the third, but I need to know, like I need to be specific about where that is. But in the meanwhile, I worked with 2 people to get their first TED. And it is a long process. The likelihood that you're going to get a TED, not very good. So I tell people to go through the process so that you're better at what you do. So if you're a salesman, if you're a CEO, being able to put your stories together matters. Like if there's importance in that, you'll be better at it. And that's the value of you going through the master's class. That is TEDx. And the thing happened was I got 2 of my students into the same TED. The same TED. So Hampton, down in Hampton Roads, Virginia, there'll be 2. One of them, Husker Breezy, who does the breeze with me on Sunday here on the ticket, got his first TED, and I'm thrilled. And my buddy Chaz Jackson, who former D1 football player down in Texas, he got his first TED. The only problem is you have to prepare people, 1, to complete the writing, and then 2, memorizing it, because there's a whole bunch of stuff that you have to do along with it, and then training them through the process. And so getting them prepared for it, each one unto itself, is a full-time job. If I was training one of them, it would be enough. Training both of them is a lot. Training both of them, then preparing myself for it, almost impossible. So I'm going to make the choice that I'm going to focus on them so that they get there first. I know what it did for me, and I know the value in it. So I'm going to focus on them and help them get prepared so that their talks are memorable, their ideas we're sharing are wonderful. Ignite is, for me, it's a thing that it's a story that I know that I can just grip and rip. And I know this, and it allows me to be a part of the Lincoln community. And there's some great speakers who are going to be a part of this thing. I'm excited by it. The list of folks, and I want to go through it because there's a full name, and this is how we'll close out. And I'll let Austin get out of here. But Alan Ward, Amanda Fairley, Jason Whitmer, Janine Bryant, Jeff Martin, Jillian Post, Katie Lou Hodson, Mark Bielek, Mitzi Nannen, Rachel Barth, and Sam Stecker. Sam Stecker, I'm looking forward to because he's been on the station before with Aaron Davis, and I'm looking forward to it. Rachel Barth, I've heard some of her presentations. This is some good stuff, and some of the titles is, just themes that you're going to work from. Work is good therapy, or lessons from my father that my father taught me. I'm in. Can I live with this? Taking flight, the power of local engagement at the Lincoln Airport. Very timely. Sam's piece is, could I interest you in some hydration? How to take the random out of random acts of kindness. It's going to be an exceptional night. And so tonight we'll bring some of those speakers on. We'll do the same thing tomorrow night. But I'm excited, Austin. It's going to be fun. I'm flattered by it all.
9 o'clock the next 2 nights, you said?
9 o'clock the next 2 nights. I know that Toot, who is a growing star, will be a part of this as well. And I believe that Alan Ward is also going to be on the show. So those will be the 2 of them with me tonight from 9 to 10. So, get your pens out, because I want to point this out to you, that next week our lineup will look different. It'll look different. And bit by bit, piece by piece, we will introduce some new shows, some new folks in the lineup. We've got a lot of good stuff coming. And oh, by the way, we're 2 weeks out from being down on O Street. So if you've driven by and seen the signs, you understand why we're getting excited. Austin, thank you for what you do each and every day, brother. Appreciate you. Don't go anywhere. More Ticket Weeknights coming up here. 93.7 The Ticket.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. The home of Kansas City Royals baseball. KNTK FM First, 93.7 The Ticket.
If your car has sent you to the sidelines, Eustace Body Shop can help. With gold-class certified technicians, OEM parts, and free loaner cars, Eustace Body Shop is your best choice this Husker season. And with 6 locations across central and eastern Nebraska, we've got you covered, whether you're rooting at home or you're headed to Memorial Stadium. Get a free online quote at EustaceBodyShop.com, and let's get you back in the game.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
What would you tell a friend who was on the fence about going to Limitless Mail?
I would tell them to go to Limitless today. Don't hesitate. You're going to second guess yourself on if it's the right decision. The staff there is amazing. The treatments work. I'm living proof that it can completely change your life for the better.
Join thousands of men who have changed their lives with testosterone treatment. Slow down the aging process and live life. Schedule your free consult at limitlessmail.com.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.